Andres Gonzalez, you're in the studio.
I'm in the studio.
Thanks for coming in.
It's my pleasure. Kind of hard for me to come. It's a difficult thing for me to talk in a mic, but we have to do the job, right?
I appreciate you doing so. I thought you were going to say it's hard for you to come because you have 2 little kids and you didn't get to sleep any last night and you needed to rest.
Also, you can notice from here that now my sleepings are very hard to do.
You have a beautiful family, and whenever people see like the pictures of the kids, and when you're awake and functioning, it's like this is my family. You can't imagine not having it. But late at night when like the kid starts crying for like the 10th time and you're like not sleeping at all and you and your wife are having to figure it out, it's a little bit different story.
But it's a life changing, man. Like even when they're not crying and I wake up at night, I miss that they're there at that moment. So it's a funny feeling, right?
Yeah. You know, what's really strange is even after they grow up and start sleeping, you're going to still wake up. It's like, why is it so quiet?
Exactly. I don't know that. They're still very young, but yeah, I imagine it happens to me right now when they're just, something's wrong. They're not crying or they're not around. Like, what's happening?
They're up to something. All right. So we have a lot to talk about. And I really appreciate you coming on. I'll tell you what, you introduce yourself real quick, just what you do. And we're going to jump into your history because your family and you have a long history with Nosara. So we're going to start right there.
Well, I'm basically Andres Gonzalez. I'm a lawyer and public notary. What I do is mostly notary stuff and advising people on legal stuff in here in Nosara. I also have a little hostel, Nosara Beach Hostel, which is in K section. And yeah, my family and we arrived like the first time to Nosara, like in 1983, 84, something like that.
Wow.
I was a very, very little kid. And we started going all around Nosara to see where to stay, where to buy. And it was a pretty nice experience. Like it was hard to enter into here.
Do you have memories of the 80s and as a child rolling around Nosara?
See, of course. Like I actually almost got drowned in the tide pools.
In South Guiones?
Yeah, when I was about... No, actually in Middle Guiones, in Baker Beach.
Okay.
I was like 6 and too much sun and I just vanished in the ¿cómo se llama? In the tide pool. Mm-hmm. And then my dad just saw me and pulled me from the hair. I used to have hair, believe it, when I was a kid. And there's a lot of nice things, nice memories that we had. Like all my family in here, we were like the only people in the beach except for 3-4 foreigners walking around. I never saw Bobby naked. Believe me. Love you, Bobby. I will remember that. And
shout out to Bobby and her funny comments on her podcast.
That was one of the best that you have had in here.
Oh, thanks for checking it out. It was interesting because we've recorded with Bobby before. Mm-hmm. But as you know, Bobby has different moods or different phases. And also, Nosara has so much going on. Sometimes like right now, and other times it's kind of not as much going on. And I wanted to launch hers at the right time. Like right now, there's a lot of passion with the zoning and the building regulations and all that stuff going on. And I thought it'd be good for people to get to know Bobby and kind of what she's been fighting for, amongst others. And I don't know, just give a better understanding of what they mean to this place.
Uh-huh.
So I have some other stuff with her, though. I'll launch it later because it's really funny. Like we have some footage of her and Marlon Bill swapping stories.
No way.
Yeah, I'm sitting on that
interesting.
One. So I'm going to let this build up a little bit more and one of these days pull that out of the closet. But onwards to you. So you have a couple projects going on and you have a whole new location that's being built right now?
See, right now we're building in what we used to be 5 corners. Like,
hey, what do we call that now?
I have no idea.
We should come up with something.
Yeah, I have there's no landmark right now in there because it used to be 5 corners, but now the new road disappear like one or 2 of the corners actually.
It's like there's 3.5 corners now?
3 streets now.
In that weird side road? Exactly. Okay, so anyway, so your new office, it's under construction right now.
My new office is located there, yeah, in what it used to be part of the La Estancia, the old hotel from Gulli. And we're excited. We're probably moving in a couple of months.
Wow, it's close, huh?
See, it's close. And
so this high season, you'll be rolling.
See, I hope so. And
right.
we need the space. Basically, I'm moving with Donald Loria.
Is he coming with you to this one?
Sí.
That's great. So the band's staying together.
The whole band is moving to the new office.
Cool, man.
Because we needed a larger office because there's
you guys are pretty
town
tight.
is growing and our clients are more and more and more. So
well, right on, man. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
All right. So you have a new office. You work as an attorney here. You've been here a long time. You're very familiar with the area. A lot of people are coming into Nosara these days. The town's growing more than I had really ever expected it to. But for whatever reason, it's happening. What advice or guidance would you have, both personally and from a legal standpoint? What do you have to say to people who are coming into the community?
Okay, personally, and as a person that has been here and loved Nosara, that's why I moved here 12 years ago already. I will say if you come here and love the nature, love how the jungle is, the monkeys, everything that we see around. If you come and buy a lot, please don't cut it all. Like, preserve a little bit.
No, why is that important?
It is important because that's what you're coming from, no? Like, you come to see that. That's the value of Nosara. That's the beauty. That we have a big percentage of green in here. Like, otherwise, there's Tamarindo. You can go there and buy a big chunk of concrete and see concrete around you. So in my opinion, personal opinion as a Nosara lover or resident, we should keep a little bit of the green. As a lawyer, my advice to everybody is, I always say, first, when you're planning to purchase is get a good lawyer, of course. Second is, and one of the most important is to get a very good survey, because Nosara has a lot of overlappings, a lot of discrepancy on lot size. And there's a big litigation right now going on all around Nosara because of double title of properties. So the surveyor is extremely important part of the due diligence.
I want to pause on that for just a moment, because the surveys from today always seem to come out different than, say, just the surveys from 8-10 years ago. And people often wonder, how could that be the case? And in your words, why is that?
I will say two main reasons. Number one, technology, which is probably the main reason that happened.
Like utilizing GPS coordinates.
Exactly. If you think about a survey that was done in 1980, they were probably done with cords from a guy with a stick in one corner going 1 kilometer to the other side to try to measure a lot.
Right.
So imagine what can be lost in there in reality of what they're trying to do, even if they were legally doing it. And the second main reason is fraud. Like there were a lot of frauds. People that making money trying to resell property that doesn't belong to them, or try to make their property bigger at expenses of the neighbor.
Got it.
So they start inscribing new planos that actually surveys that they were not correct.
So would you say it's safe to buy real estate here, assuming you have a good attorney and a good survey?
Sí, it is safe. Like everything in Costa Rica is recorded in the National Register, so titles are easy to research. You can get information from local government. You can see the history of who has owned the lot, the property, and with a good surveyor, you can easily know if your survey has a problem or not. Again, GPS and all coordinates devices makes it easy now.
So we're getting with the times. Technology is improving, and it's a little bit safer.
Things are getting better, a lot better than 10, 15 years ago, for sure.
Get you. From my end, from like my day job, I obviously work in the business, and that's one of the harder explanations to offer people, because it's like, well, hey, I bought this 8 years ago, and now a survey came out, and the line saying it's there and not there. What the heck?
And there's also a lot of confusion because the fence went down because of the jungle. In here, a fence could be 5 years and then disappear completely from your property, and then somebody goes there and just say, please put the fence back, and a worker comes and put the fence 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters
right
in the wrong position. So there's a lot of that too.
I got you. So I was told many times over that in Costa Rica, like the courts or the judges look to where has the fence been.
See?
Like they go, is that accurate?
Yeah, because it shows possession. Remember that in Costa Rica, the title subdivides in the ownership of property subdivides in two parts, in two rights. The ownership per se and the possession of the lot. So you can be in possession of a lot that belongs to somebody else and acquire rights over that property.
This is a good segue for talking about squatting because that's a super common question. Because
Very
when
common
people
here.
just hop on the internet, beware of squatters, or I lost my property to squatters, that's all over the place. So how do you explain that to people?
Remember that Costa Rica was an agriculture country mainly, right? Now we have moved to other services and to tourism and everything. So the laws are very headed to the use of the land, right? The idea of those laws were that if there was empty properties that, I don't know, the buyer, the old owner died, or people left alone for 20 years, 30 years, that the community could come, plant, and use the land for the good of the whole community, right? So the point in there is, if you leave your property alone, if you don't take care of your property, if you're not looking for your property or using your property, somebody else can come and use it and exploit it and make the country better, right? When you buy something, fence it, show possession, show that you're there, pay your taxes, because all that helps you to prove possession. If somebody comes and destroys your fence and start planting your property, that's illegal, because they're already doing like a violent possession, which is not part of the law. You cannot just take over somebody else's property.
Well, I guess we're coming back around to surveys and why they're so important, to get an updated survey and to adhere to that, because if you do that, then you're very safe. Whereas if you don't, or it's an old piece of property or a big piece of property, it can be a little more problematic. Like around here, I think the squatting situation is extremely different than it was way in the past, because now the lots are a lot smaller. There's a lot more density. The chances of you buying a property in the middle of Palada or Guiones right now and someone else coming and just sitting on it and getting it is almost nothing, because there's so many people here now. People will see it right away. It'll be notified.
Like 40 years ago was super common.
Right. And in the past, that was commonplace, because most of the people who bought here, they were hardly ever here.
There were people that bought without even coming.
Right.
So they were just like offer a property in New York, or they were in Minnesota or wherever. They say like, okay, $4,000 for 10,000 square meter property in Nosara. Okay, nice investment. Here it is. And they even came once to Costa Rica to check it out.
It's amazing. So my favorite squatting story is my friend up in Lagarta, up to the north, just south of Honkial area. He has a huge piece of land, and he has a cuidador who rides through it like once a week just to check it all out. And the guy saw it, or he was riding through on his horse to check the land, and there was like a little makeshift town that had just like popped up almost overnight. And he's like, "What are you doing here?" And the guy's like, "Oh, amigo, we've been here for 20 years. Look, here's our paperwork." And they had all this like made up paperwork, and they're like, "See, we've been here a long time. This is our life." And he's like, "I was here last week on my horse, and like none of you guys were here." And the guy like tried to play it off, but to Costa Rica's credit, they called the authorities and they removed him from the land. That was all just a big scam.
Sí. And they tried to do that.
They tried to do it because the guy has so much land. They were hoping that people don't check it, and they could go in and set up and do their thing.
See, so when you buy, check your property.
Yeah.
Put fences.
It's a good idea.
Have somebody taking care of it. You have to.
I get you. Any particular advice for people who would want to sell property? What's the responsibilities of a seller?
The seller, again, they should have the proper survey. So if they have a very old survey, it won't be a bad idea to redo it. Keep the taxes paid, current. The corporation also paid and current. And the declaration of the value of your property has to be renewed every 5 years at the local government of Nicoya. So if they have all those things, it's going to be pretty easy for them when there's a buyer to sell. If they can prove all that, easy.
That's good guidance. Would you recommend people buy a property using a corporation, or what's your take on that?
First of all, there's a lot of confusion. I don't know if misguidance that people believe that they can only buy with corporations, but that's not true. They can actually buy with their passport or ID, or if they're Costa Ricans, of course. So any tourist can come and buy with just their passport, right? Their land. Now, the idea of having a corporation is because risks. Like if you're, as an example, I always put that as example, if you're rich, have a property in your personal name, and then you're driving up to Nicoya, and for some reason you make a mistake and kill somebody in the middle of the road, there comes a lawsuit against you as the driver, and whatever is in your name is on jeopardy, right? So you can lose your property because you kill somebody in the middle of the road. Or if you lose a lawsuit on a contract or something in your personal name, anything that is your name could be auctioned to pay that lawsuit if you don't pay it.
So the main benefit that you're saying so far is liability purposes.
It's liability purpose, yeah.
Okay. Are there other benefits to it?
No, basically that's it.
Okay.
Like corporations are for that, for liability.
All right. So Andres, we just had a big new tax law change. I don't even know how to describe it. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it is.
Is that confusing for you as well, or is that just me?
It's confusing for everybody. Even the accountants and even the tax office is confused about it.
I feel a little better, kind of. What a weird situation.
Imagine that they even gave like a 3-month period of grace for not applying penalties for the people that is starting to declare because of how they have managed it. Like they just 2 weeks before it started, they just put like the rudiments of how they were going to apply it. So nobody had time to read it and to digest it.
I got you. So everyone's still just assimilating this and figuring it out right now.
Exactly. Even the authorities.
Wow, what a trip. Pura vida, as they say down here.
Pura vida, sí.
So, but in all seriousness, can you walk us through an example? Let's say somebody, they have a property right now. They're going to sell it for $100,000. How does the capital gains tax that is being implemented work?
Okay, if they bought it before the law started in effect on July 1st.
Okay, it's July 1st, 2019. If they bought it then.
That's the most important date that they have to know.
Okay.
Like if they bought it before that date, it only applies them 2.25 of the gain that they have over the price.
So not the total price, just the gain.
Not the total price. Let's put it like this. If they bought it for $100,000, they're going to sell it for $200,000. The moment that they sell it, the difference is going to be they made $100,000 profit, right? So over that $100,000 is going to be the 2.25%. Now, this is only if it's their first property that they're selling.
Okay.
If it's their second property that they're selling, it apply a 15%.
Got it.
At least that's what all the accountants and all the authorities are saying right now. We will see in a couple of months.
We'll have you back in the future to clarify.
Exactly. In a couple of months, we can talk a little bit more about that.
No, that's super helpful. I think going through that's going to help a lot of people listening to this. So thank you. Overall, do you feel it's a good thing for the country, or is it a step backwards in your opinion? Taxes are never good for the commerce, I think. The country needed it because more growth to the infrastructure, supposedly. We will see. That depends a lot on the government. If they don't use it just for trips and having fun, if they use it for what it is. Maybe they'll do it for both. Hopefully a little bit, at least for the infrastructure of the country. I'm laughing because, well, you know why you know what I'm talking. Yeah, I know. I know what you're laughing. Yeah. Yeah. So how about for a rental home? Let's say that you have a rental home. How do the new taxes apply to that? Okay. It used to be exempt 100% on renting houses, right? From now on, if the lease is for more than 650,000 colones, which is about $1,100, it will apply a 13%. Okay. What we call the IVA. Is that on the total rental? Sí. Okay. Like let's put it like this. $2,000. If you're paying $2,000 for a house, you're gonna have to pay $2,260 because $260 is the 13% that you have to pay to the tax office. I get every month. So sellers will build into 13%, or it's not sellers. the homeowners will build in the 13% into the price.
See, they have to charge it to the people that is leasing from them and pay it every month to the tax office. And
do they do it per rental or per however many rentals were in the month? Let's say they have 4 rentals in a month, one each week.
Individual.
Okay, individual.
Okay. They have to do monthly reports. So if it's a commercial rental, what you're saying, like if they're renting it for tourists, 1 week, they have to do bills to every single one of their renters, and they have to add the 13%. And at the end of the month, they have to say, okay, we rented to these 4 people. Here's the 4 receipts, and here's your 13% government of Costa Rica.
Do you know who I feel bad for? Is the property managers.
See, it's going to be a lot more work for them.
They already have the worst job. There's no Home Depot or some store to go get supplies from when something breaks. Like, it's a little more challenging being out in the jungle. And we have really distinct seasons. When it's really hot and dry, it's hot and dry. And when it's wet and humid, it's wet and humid. So there's constantly things going on. And now they have to keep track of this as well. So shout out to all the property managers.
They have to get a good accountant also.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of accountants. How many of them are good?
That I know in here, like 2 or 3 from like 20.
I guess it's good to be them right now.
See?
So if you're a good accountant, there's a good opportunity right now.
But remember, like, even if they're renting for less, like long time, the ones that are exempt are long term, right? If it's short term, even if it's a week, they have to collect the 13%.
Okay.
Like what I was talking at the beginning of the 650,000 colones, if you rent for a year to somebody. And if it's less than 650,000 colones, you still have to give the bill, the ticket, but you don't pay the 13%, but you still have to report it.
I got you. So for the vast majority of rentals in Nosara, people should count on the 13%.
See?
So let's move the conversation over into current events in Nosara right now. Let's talk about the zoning stuff and the temporary building regulations. Lots been going on in the past couple months. So it's been a whirlwind of emotion for a lot of us, and it's been a lot of confusion when it first started. Like, it was a pretty hard launch. I think you used that term once. They did the proposed regulations. I'm fast forwarding the story for anyone listening to get to where we're at right now. So they announced on May 23rd, I think it was, the initial proposal. And then we started having meetings all around town and talking about it and getting things going. People talked to Nicoya. They met with Josue. Shout out to Josue for coming out every Monday and talking with people. And people emailed in. We've been gathering feedback. And then they just announced, 2 days ago? On Thursday, formally.
The changes, the
updated proposal. And that brings us to now. So you and I can start as of the new regulations. And in short, just to recap for anyone listening, they went from 6 meter height restriction in the buffer zone, which is 1 kilometer in, to 9 meters. Adjusted the lighting a bit. The lighting's inside of the 1 kilometer, but also the slopes facing the ocean up to 7 kilometers, I want to say.
They should be all facing down.
Okay. So, but there's particular restrictions on anything that has an ocean view.
Yes.
In an effort to help with the turtles. If I'm saying that right. Then
Correct.
We had the usage went from, I guess 65% it is now.
60 conservation, 40 construction. And right now the footprint, they're proposing 50-50.
Right. So we're at 50. And then, forgive me if I'm forgetting a major category. And then, of course, the subdivision went from the proposal of 1,000 meter lots down to basically nothing. So
that's the bad part, yeah.
Okay, so can we talk through these? So my first question is, out of all of those adjustments, what's the one that bothers you or you're like the most passionate about?
Okay, at the beginning when they launched the first proposal, first of all, I was kind of not in, agreement with the 6 meters in cases of, because it's impossible to fit like a 2-story building in 6 meters.
Right.
So now they adjusted as many people send emails and requested, and now it's a decent size.
Okay. So you feel more comfortable having the 9 meters than the 6. You're far that you think that's a good idea.
See, that's a lot good idea. And also the 12 meters in the remaining 4 kilometers after the first kilometer of restrictions goes to 12 meters, which is good also. Like, it's decent. We don't have like a 5-story buildings in 300 square meter lots, which is crazy. Right. And the sad part is that the municipalidad, because of all the opposition that has been through people that just don't want any kind of regulation, they had to back up and not put a X amount of square meter subdivision bigger than the current one that is in the national law that allows people to cut lots in 120 square meter little pieces. That's my biggest concern, like that. I know that there's big chunks of property still for development and on their maybe not the best hands, and they're probably gonna do that.
I get you.
Cut it in little pieces to maximize their profit.
So it's safe to say the 1,000 meter, which was proposed down to nothing, that's the one that has your attention the most.
See, and I'm not saying 1,000 square meters is the perfect size of a lot in here. I actually don't know because I'm not a ecologic expert or a scientist or anything that can say, okay, 1,000 square meter is good or bad. But I do think we need bigger lots and restrictions more than the 120 square meter that is currently in place.
Okay. Lighting restrictions and usage. Do you have any major thoughts on any of those?
First of all, it's important to make clear that this is a temporary regulation, right?
Yeah, good point.
Because the real regulation comes with the plan regulador.
Right.
How do you say that in English?
The regulatory
zoning,
plan.
The zoning.
Yeah, the regulatory of the zoning plan.
Which is a very hard thing to implement. Like Costa Rica has the law since about 20 years ago that said that all local governments are supposed to do their zonings 20 years ago. And only like 4 or 5 have managed to have the whole place with zoning, their whole territory with zoning. And most of the local governments only have partial zonings in different areas, especially in the main towns. So the regulatory, these restrictions that are coming, it's ¿cómo se llama? Lifeguard,
it's like a life vest.
How do you say that?
Or it's almost, I think what you're trying to say, it's almost like a bumper. Like it's almost like a temporary protectionary measure.
Yeah. So it's not the best, but it's something. It is something that...
I like how you said that.
See, as an example, in my personal opinion, the main road, the 160, it should have a totally different regulation. Like, you cannot compare the 160 to the front of the beach or to the back of the... Like, any town, the main road like that, it is the heart of the commerce, the heart of the development, the heart of everything. So...
Or you're going to have more activity there because there's a road and people have to drive on it to get wherever they're going.
It's the main road. It's the only entrance and the only exit almost from Nosara. So it should have a differential laws. At this moment, if it's in 1 kilometer inside, it enters to the same that the first kilometer. If it's outside the 4 kilometers, it's different. I kind of disagree with that, but I understand it's necessary. That's
you're bringing up a really good point, Andres, because it's really interesting to not have commercial areas included in the whole thing. And like at the meeting on Thursday, a lot of people were like, well, why isn't there this? Why isn't there that? And they were going on and on.
Because it's temporary.
Exactly.
It's not the actual zoning plan that they have to implement, which is supposed to be coming in 3-4 years, maybe 5, 10, 20.
Pause. Let's make a bet right now. When does Andres think that the real plan regulador is going to happen?
When people come people come to my office and ask me, Andres, how much time does this takes? I will go like, in good terms, if you're super lucky, this amount of time. Normally this amount of time, and it can go to this amount of time. So
let's do that
if you ask me like that, the real zoning, they say 3 years. That makes me think it's probably 6, and most of the chances probably 10 years or more.
Are you going to go in the middle? So what do you say? It's 7?
Let's put 7, yeah, 6 to 7. But But again, it's so hard. Like there could be so much opposition. Imagine if we're having opposition of this little thing that is 4 rules that they're trying to implement. Imagine when they come and tell somebody like, oh, your place is commercial or your place is only residential. And they were thinking to do a big hotel. Like there's going to be more lawyers litigating against the actual zoning than what we are seeing right now. And again, in here, there's people in favor, people that has discrepancy of thoughts, and opposition that just want to take all regulations out so they do whatever they want.
I get it. So let's qualify that and talk about it a little bit more. So you say the people in favor, that's pretty self-explanatory. People are just like, yeah, I think these are great. Let's do it.
Yep.
Then the middle category is the one that I want to talk the most about. So qualify that a little bit more. You said people who want, it seems like you were saying people who want something to happen, but they might have concerns about this particular version or the previous particular version.
I will put the first and second group, the ones that say, okay, let's do it. And the other ones that are more like me and the architects and the engineers and other people that say, okay, we do need that, but it should be like this. And there's the third part that is just opposition. Like the first 2 categories, like the first one, the ones that are 100% in favor of all kind of regulation is most people that just live here, love to be here, and probably don't work in here, just are enjoying
they already have a house.
Already have a house, they do yoga, they're like living the beauty of Nosara. The second group, I will say, is the people like me or like the architects or like the engineers that are working on the place, love the place, and say, okay, we do need these regulations, but we cannot stop development totally. But we understand that there's the need of conservation.
Right.
And there's the third part that are just people that comes to make profit, cut 100% of the lot, build 20-store buildings, maximize their profit, and after that happens, they leave Nosara and go to the next place to destroy. So I think those are the 3 groups.
It's interesting because if this was happening 10 years ago, there wasn't enough business to do the big projects. It's just in recent years that Nosara has become popular. And like the people that used to buy here, they generally were surfers or they were yogis for the most part. They were really into nature and they were just really passionate about the area.
The best example of that, I don't know if you remember the building or what they tried to do in front of Century 21.
Yeah, right there, of course.
Like
right before Beachstock, to clarify
that
for
project
people.
failed because it was 3 towers of I think 4 stores, and the whole community was against it. So nobody, I think they sold like 2. In the pre-project, in the pre-selling, they sell like 2 and then they broke because nobody wanted to buy a tower in Nosara.
Well, so this is a good example for people listening of how the rumor mill works here. So my understanding was it didn't work at first, but then when it was revitalized, they actually had them all pre-sold and everything sold. And then the earthquake messed up the building to where they couldn't use the existing construction. They had to tear it down.
That's possible because they had like 5 years of that project abandoned in there also. So maybe the 2 stories are maybe true.
Maybe they're both true.
Yeah.
Hey, on the Nosara Times, a new project that Zach and I are working on, we're trying to do like a little news station where people can actually get local news because we don't have that now. We want to start like a rumor mill section. And
you have that on Facebook. Why are you going to do that?
Yeah, well, we're gonna try to get it off of Facebook. As you know, I cannot stand
rant and rave.
Oh God, it's done so much harm to this community. It's done some good too, but it's also done a lot of harm. The reason why I don't like that page is because people read something someone types and they might take it as fact, and it could be completely wrong. And like I'm president of the Security Association. I've had multiple people contact me and say, "Hey, listen, I'm not going to make that donation. Looks like everything's gone all to hell. The donation is not going to make any difference, so I'm out." And someone, a keyboard warrior, sitting somewhere behind a keyboard late at night, typed it because they were all fired up to get people to. They're just participating in an unproductive situation while some of us are out there actually trying to make a difference, and you have this stupid rant and rave page like really.
I know, and you have
I don't care
people
for it.
working in every single association in here trying to help the community, and then you have people commenting on Facebook that they never do anything, and they just go like ranting and expecting that you solve everything for them. I understand. That's why that's one of the parts I renounced, like the 7 associations I was. Because
you're
I
on
got
hiatus.
tired.
You're just clearing your head for a minute. I'm retiring as security president in November.
November?
Yeah. I'm really proud of what we've accomplished, because with security, it's a losing battle. Like it's a very unpleasant thing, but it's kind of messing up my mind. I'm losing. I don't want to lose my love for the place. And if you're just dealing with work and robbery after robbery after problem after problem.
I was in security also for like 5 years.
You're one of the founding members.
I was a founding member, yeah. And I was like vice president for like 4 years in a row, while we tried to bring the tourist police with Agnes and all those guys. Yep. And
I remember it.
By the way, Agnes is still there, which is
no, Agnes is getting out too. I'm taking her with me. So in November, I'm out. Agnes is out. And
that's bad news. Hey, both of you out of this.
We're both going to be gone. Anyone listening to this, volunteer. But she deserves to be saved. Yeah. Like we've done our time. Like we need other people to step up.
You know, one of the main reasons I don't want to I at least I took my sabbatic years out of the associations is because people start calling me like, hey, you're in this association. Why don't you fix this? Like it's your job. Like it's not my job. I'm a lawyer.
I'm
like
laughing because
if you want to come and to my office and I can do my job and you pay me, is one thing. But now you're calling me to make me know that it's my job to fix your road, to fix your security, to fix this, and I'm like, no.
Well, especially like with security, you're powerless over that. We're not going to.
It's impossible. Yeah.
We're not going to change the laws. Like, here's a story. A month or two ago, I went up to a section to give like a little mini presentation. And it's actually the D section. I'll just say it. So I went and met with some of the owners in the D section. And my point was
small. Yeah.
It's like, hey, this is small. This is kind of good. You could do this. Like that, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so my message was this. Here's what we should do. Exactly what we just did in Las Huacas. Uh-huh. It's going to take 3-5 years, but it's going to work if you just stick to it. And basically, there were a couple people who were like, okay, well, I want to learn more. But there were several educated people who were like, no, it won't work. And I'm like, it will work. We just did it. Like right there, right behind you. Like literally.
Next to you.
Right there.
Look in the other side of the hill.
And they're like, no, it's not going to do it. I think the thieves are going to get in touch with the security guards and they're going to run away with all our stuff. It's like, oh, okay, well, I guess that's a possibility, but we just did it. It worked. In every street that we've implemented private security on, it's worked. Like all the houses that have private security all night, those homes don't get robbed. The ones beside them do. But private security works. It's the only thing that we have.
It's the only thing we have, yeah.
That works. So that was kind of my message. I was like, all right, well, I figure everyone will buy into this. And it went over like a rock in a lake. So it was just reason after reason why it won't work. And it was all the same stuff that was said previously. So like the street, I'll give you another one. So the street from the skate park up to Nosara Escape, Los Bengos, gets robbed a lot. A lot of chatter on social media. Oh, I got robbed. Everything's gone to hell. Everything's bad. It's this person's fault, that person's fault. We need to do something. All right. So I went out and got a quote, put it together pretty quickly. I was like, all right, here you go.
Nobody want to pay it?
Yeah. Nobody wants to pay it. So my message back to them is like, hey, stop complaining. Don't hop on social media and talk smack if you're not willing to take action. Mm-hmm. Had enough. We have a solution to these things. It's very simple. You either participate in the solution or shut up. Now, see how angry I'm getting and how I'm talking? That's why I need to quit.
I have like a year and a half, so that's why I'm so calm, see?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna in 2 years from now I'll laugh about it. But as it stands right now.
Which just by the way, I'm not proud of being out of most of the associations. I love helping, but it consumes you, man.
It really does.
It does.
It does. That whole no good deed goes unpunished. I think there's some truth in that, man. That's not just a saying. Like, because when you're in on the association here, that takes up your time. And to go up to those meetings, which are very poorly attended for the most part.
By the way, my wife was going to kill me. I was like 3 nights a week out in meetings of associations, at least twice a month out of Nosara to attend meetings. So it was like,
Right.
Or you quit or I kill you.
You chose wisely.
Yeah.
Well, either way, so shout out to everyone who's serving out there, because it's a thankless task.
See, people like Bobby, like Agnes, like Joe, so many.
Ryan,
Brenda,
just go down the
Ryan,
list.
There's a lot of people. You.
Yeah, I'm gonna transition my efforts more into the podcast and the news project, and I'm really trying to march to a community center. You and I've talked about it a little bit in the past, but
it will be a good project.
Thank you, I appreciate that. They might kill me for saying this, but I think we do a pretty good job actually. Everyone's aware of the monkeys and the trees and the turtles. Like, even your basic visitor knows these things are here and they want to keep these things here. The one thing that's not being talked about and we're not focusing on, and it scares me to death, Andres, I'm telling you, like, from my heart, like, this really bothers me. We are not focusing on the people at all. And by people, I mean the kids and their education. Because how is a kid from Delicias or Esperanza or the Pueblo, how are they going to get a job at your firm at a high level if they don't have the education or the ability to move from an agricultural society into a tourism-based society? And also, Nosara people aren't low end; they're high end. It's expensive. The homes that are going up are nice. Like,
no, you're 100% right. Like, we need to focus on education, because if these kids doesn't get like good education, they won't get a good job with the people around here. So what are their chances?
Well, people from San Jose come in and fill the jobs, or people from other countries come in and fill the jobs. And it's a shame, because there's a forgotten generation that's out there right now. You can be a surf instructor for so long, but you can only have so many surf instructors. And I'm not saying it's bad to be a surf instructor. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that
it has a limit of time.
Yes, for the majority of people.
You cannot work in surf for 60 years or 70 years.
Not everyone's going to own a successful business like Nosara Tica or Agua Tibia. So shout out to all those guys. I'm saying, but the general basic instructor, there's a limited time frame on that. And what do people turn to when they don't have opportunity or they're not able?
See, and even
they turn into crime. They turn to drugs.
Even that Costa Rica has a good education system, a decent, not good. It's not enough, and especially with the type of people that is coming right now that demands better services, better English-speaking people, better attention. We need more education in our communities.
Yeah. So the idea is, I'd like to blend the cultures, because right now you kind of have the tourists come and stay in Guiones, and they all say they went to Nosara. They don't really know Nosara.
They don't know Arenales. They don't know Santa Marta.
They have no idea. So there's kind of a chasm between the expat community and then the actual true locals. Mm-hmm. And that's a bit of an issue. Now, I'm worried that that's just going to continue. And it probably will, unless we do something about it. We want to kind of mix the cultures and have like a true, authentic experience. We'd like for the people from Nosara to be able to get the jobs so they can have the opportunity in their own home. It just makes sense. So we both agree that's an issue. My thought is, what if we had like a landing spot where there's activities and education, and where the Ticos and the Gringos can kind of mix. Each culture can kind of learn from the other. At nighttime, we can kind of have TED Talks, and people can come in and, I'm stealing the word TED Talk, but you can come in and teach basic skills from 6 to 7, one night a month. Gringo from Canada, or are Canadians Gringos too, or is that just U.S. people?
Technically, just U.S.
Why is that?
Actually, it's a term that started, I think, in Panama, if I'm not mistaken, because when they started invading, it was Gringo home.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So it's Gringo.
I think I remember that story. Okay, so let's say...
At least that's the story they tell us around here.
All right, I'll stick with
Canadians didn't invade Panama, right?
Okay, fine.
At least
so a Gringo from the States who is a financial advisor can come in and teach basic finance skills. Like, just basic...
That would be an amazing thing to have. And especially, one of the main problems in here is the division on the cultures. Like, Gringos or Canadians, everybody in Guiones and Pelada. The Ticos only in Nosara downtown. So mixing, it will be a good thing.
I'm going to try. So that's where that was a big inspiration for starting the podcast, and that's something I'm going to march towards. And I could be wrong on this. But this is how I feel. I think there's enough money in the community right now to actually solve the majority of our problems.
I agree with you.
Well, because you're doing a lot of the deals, you see what's happening, right? Mm-hmm. And you know the people. What I see as the issue right now is we have these walls. Like, say, for example, I'll throw real estate people under the bus because I'm one of them. So somebody comes in.
I will drive the bus.
Perfect. So somebody comes in through one company. They kind of just hang around that company, and they're people, and it just filters down. And it's the same thing for surf schools. If you come into this one surf school, you kind of go there. Same thing for yoga. Like, just pick a category, and that's kind of how this town is. We have a lot of unnecessary kind of walls up between us. And a lot of the people coming in, they don't know what to give to. They know that there's kind of turtles and monkeys, and they hear about all that type of stuff. But we've never, I mean, first off, shout out to Friends of Nosara and all the amazing things people have done in the past. But what my message to, as what Alice came on the podcast, and that's one of the things we talked about. We need to get it to like a 2019, 2020 version of reaching the people that are coming in and say, hey, listen.
But you know, it used to be very simple. Like the NCA take charge of everything in the past. So everybody was going to the NCA, everybody was donating to the NCA, and the NCA was helping all the little associations.
Right.
But because of the growth and because of different interests, you're 100% right. They start building walls. So you should not know this should not be known by these guys or these guys. Let's do it here. Let's hide. And people start doing their own projects separately.
Right. And then even the organizations that would happen, you pick one cause and then they start fighting, and now there's two organizations. So now you have two competing organizations for the same cause. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying, though, we could do it better. And if people knew, if they could show up in town and it's like, hey, you just bought something here, you built a house here, you bought a house here, whatever. Welcome to Nosara. We're happy to have you. Bienvenidos, as we say, but get involved. That's what makes us different. That's how we're going to keep the trees. That's how we're going to keep the monkeys. That's how we're going to solve security. That's how we're going to fund our bomberos. That's how we're going to educate our populace, is just get involved. If you come here, you spend your time here, just get involved with something. So I'm hoping that we can all take down like our barriers between our alliances and our personal businesses and tap into these people coming in and welcome them to getting involved.
Sí.
Well, yelling at them is not going to work. It's like you and I both have some good friends who like to yell, especially online. They get fired up. Stop everything. You know, that's never going to work. You can't just stop everything. You can't just hit a button and all of a sudden you can't process real estate deals anymore. Or it's just not like that.
No, we have to have a balance, and we have to be open and help each other. That's the most important.
It's easier said than done, right?
Very hard.
Especially when you're passionate. Like when people are angry, it's very hard to remain logical and talk things through. But hopefully discourse is changing. And either way, hopefully we're doing something good right now just by letting people listen in. But I'll ask you about a couple of areas. So the zoning thing we talked about pretty good. If I remember right, your main thing was the lot size. You'd like to see something addressed there. Height restrictions you're pretty cool with, and lighting and usage. You seem all right with that. It's the lot size that's your main concern.
Sí. Okay. Again, the lotification is the main problem, because you can there's right now, like, I can imagine like 2-3 properties that are like really big and in very already built areas of our community that are going to be probably subdivided. And if they do it in 300 square meter lot, there's not going to be any parking, which there's not anymore. You know where I'm talking, right?
I do.
And when they subdivide that in a lot of little pieces, it's going to be even worse.
Well, let's hope that you're wrong with your 7.5-year guess on the plan regulador, because that's your only hope, right?
That's our only hope.
If you think about it, unless something changes from where it is today, which I guess we'll see. This will be an ongoing discussion we'll have, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to ask you a question. The pathways to the beach recently had fences go up, and it caused a lot of concern. What's going on with that? Like, what's that about?
Well, even that a lot of friends and clients have passed to the beach, I have to say they're illegal. Like
all the pathways are illegal, right?
They're passing into a wildlife reserve, which supposedly there shouldn't be passing there. There's already 2-3 entrances to the beach, right, which are legal, like the main ones.
Is the main beach entrance legal where people drive down and park?
Sí. It's allowed by MINAE. They allow it, so it's okay. But all these little gates from your own personal house to the beach, that's not legal. They do it, but it's not the right way.
Now, what I had been told many, many times in the past from various legal sources was in Costa Rica, when a pathway is already established and it's been there for a very long period of time, that just can't go away.
In a private property.
Okay.
in your private property, but you cannot do a path in a national park or wildlife reserve.
I got you. So if it's Oceanal to South Guiones, because that's in the actual nature refuge, they can actually close those paths.
They can close it for sure.
And when we say they, who are they?
The administrator of the parks, Minae, Sinak.
Okay, so Sinak. So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting to hear it because there's so many little paths that have been used for so long.
Like, I don't know if it happens to you, but sometimes you're in the beach and sitting down in there and somebody goes out of the bushes. Like, you go like, whoa, what is this?
That's what I was talking about.
Back, like, who are you and why are you there? And it's a neighbor that has a new path directly from their house.
Okay, so one of the other rumors flying around is they're going to start charging it. And I was told that they're charging now to Access Camera and all and a couple other places. That's already been enacted, and that's about to happen here. That's been flying around town. Can you address that?
First of all, they can charge because it's a national refugee.
So same answer as before. It's a natural reserve or nature reserve. I'm sorry. The more Spanish I learn, the worse my English gets.
But it's hard. Actually, it's hard because sometimes like moving from one language to the other one is not easy.
So
but yeah,
it is a nature preserve. So they basically can do whatever they want, essentially, as in nice and
almost everything they want. But yeah, they can, and they have been able to do it since ever, but they don't do it, especially because it's super hard to implement, and there will be a lot of opposition. So I don't think SINAC will kill themselves trying to close Guiones and Pelada, which will kill the commerce and will kill the town regarding tourism, right? If they charge. So it's a rumor that they just took from old source and say like, oh, SINAC says that they can charge, and now they're using it. And I think is that groups that are opposing to the regulations are using it to make people more angry right now and throw it against NCA, SINAC, and everybody that is in favor of the regulations.
Okay, I got you. So at the moment, that's a rumor, but it could happen. You don't think it will, though?
Anything could happen. Like, laws can change, and tomorrow we could not be here or be here. Like, everything is a possibility always.
I was just more asking your opinion.
But it's not something that is going to be easily implementing here. And I believe me, the whole town, and I mean every single Costa Rican, it will be closing streets if they try to do that. Like, it's not going to happen.
I got you. What about the animal part of, you're not supposed to have dogs, you're not supposed to have horses on the beach, and that's always been
that's always been there.
Right.
Like, also,
right. Again, that's always been a debate around here too.
And believe me, I love my dogs. I love taking my dogs to the beach. I haven't taken them for like a year and a half already because I'm trying to help. But yeah, that can happen. They can come and say, you have to leave or your dogs are get out of here because they impact.
I got you. So maybe we could just say it this way. It's a nature refuge, and they could tighten it up legally for certain if they wanted to. There's certain parts of it they probably won't do.
Exactly, like charging.
I got you. So the debate about the animals will rage on for a little bit more. And, and probably the paths too, I would guess. But most likely you don't see them starting to charge entrance fees to get in.
No. Especially election years. So
that's a good point.
Not gonna happen.
All right, so onwards. Let me ask you about maybe we talked about it a little bit, but I'll ask you again. What's the difference between the people buying here right now and the people buying here 10 years ago?
There's a lot of difference. First of all, 10, 12 years ago, most of the people that was coming here, most of them had like a second loan? Second mortgage over their house in the U.S.
Yeah.
That they came to buy the property and build a little property. Mm-hmm. And in the past 5-6 years, it's people coming with cash, like to buy their third, fourth, fifth house. So there's a change on the type of clients.
I get you. So you're saying the people here buying now are more wealthy?
A lot more wealthy than 12 years ago, yeah.
Gotcha. What's the attitude about the place? Do you think people... What's your general read on people? Like, do they understand how special the place is? Or is it just kind of interesting to them? Like, what's the deal?
Most of the clients, and especially the one that I think comes to me, they come because people that love the the area recommend me, and they come to me because I talk to them into certain things that are kind of good for the community. Again, so they're really rich ones that goes to other people because their intentions is different. So most of the ones I know, they're pretty nice people. I still think I will say 80 or 90% of the people that is coming here comes for the good reasons and because of love of the place. But there's also like a 10% that I think they just come for
just the investment side of it.
Investment, yeah.
I got you. Well, that being said, in fairness to them, it hasn't not been a bad place to invest.
Not at all.
So I guess that's natural.
And it's logical, and we all have investments. I have investment in here. Like, if you ask me, like, the property where the hostel is, I can build 3 towers and sell it for $20 million, which we're not doing. We decided to make it a hostel and make like little cabins, and we're actually going to build a couple of cabins, but it's a low impact place, which probably isn't a $5 million property, right? 3,000 something square meters in K section. But my family decided not to explode them like this 10% of people will do.
I got you. So as the town grows, there's growing pains that follow it. And we're experiencing some of that right now.
See?
But let me ask you this. So let's talk about Nosara's future. How do you feel about our future? What's your take on how this place is going to unfold over the next 5, 6, 7, 10, 15, 20 years?
Well, right now, I think we're on the point break, you say, right? Break point.
Breaking point.
On the breaking point.
Breaking point.
See, I think right now we're like on the breaking point, which will define what is going to happen in here. The community has a lot to do with that, and the pressure from the community, I think, will decide if we go to a development 100% of the coast, like Tamarindo, or if we keep the ¿cómo se llama? The way that we have been doing it, and the green and all the parklands.
So when you say we're at the breaking point now, do you mean now as in like today? Or do you just mean like in the next 2 or 3 years, 5 years?
Now as in today.
Right now. Okay, so let's talk about that right now. So it seems to me, if that's the case, this is the time everyone who has an opinion, no matter what your opinion is, this is the time.
This is the moment.
Maybe we'll talk about that for a moment, because Nicoya is actually listening. In your history and growing up, and even when I first got here, I don't remember Nicoya and Nosara like getting along and cooperating at the highest level. Normally it seems like there's a lot of dissension kind of between the two. And right now Nicoya has people coming out every Monday, like literally listening to us, and we can email them and talk to them and like.
Well, the social pressure that Nosara did in the past 3 years through the different organizations like NCA, ADIN, Adios Esperanza, make this happen, like make that the local government of Nicoya start taking our position and start coming. It's a work of many associations that have pushed them to listen to us. Which
is awesome. Thank you for all your efforts on that, by the way. And shout out to everyone behind the scenes who's been working on that with the Desarrollos and the projects that you are heavily involved
in. Used to. I'm on vacations for that.
You're just on vacation, though. You're coming back. We'll get to that. So, but anyway,
I miss it a little bit, but I also don't miss a lot of parts of it.
You probably miss it a little bit, but not a lot.
Yeah.
But that being said, so Nicoya is starting to communicate, and then we had the big election. Was that last year?
The referendum was last year.
So I was worried that we were going to get punished from Nicoya for the election, and then us not winning the election and losing it by just a small amount on a Sunday afternoon.
That was sad. But actually, even that made Nicoya understand that if they don't do things for us, at least retribute a little bit of what we do for them, what we pay to them, it will make them lose. And I'm pretty sure that if we do a second referendum, it will be out. Nosara will be a district with autonomy.
Got it. So would you rather that happen, or just Nicoya start being nice to us and listening and be a little more cooperative?
Both ways, as long as we get something, and as long as we get attention, and as long as we get services. That's a pretty
good answer. As long as we're not sending the tax money that way and it doesn't come back. As long as that's
exactly. Like, as we start seeing them more around here, like they are in the past 6 months, I'm fine with Nicoya taking charge of it. But if not, they have to know we're here and we're going to take charge of ourselves. Well, which we have been done for the past 40 years.
Right. No, that makes sense. Okay, so back to what we were talking about earlier. You feel we're at a breaking point right now. People need to get their opinions in, no matter what they may be. And you feel that Nicoya is listening to them, and you know that Nicoya is listening to them because they just made changes to the initial proposal based off of these opinions, correct?
Yep, correct.
All right, so it seems like we're in a pretty good spot right now.
See, but I think people should get into the groups number 1 and number 2.
Okay, what does that mean?
What we were talking before, group number 1, people that is in favor of these regulations, and group number 2, that is people in favor of regulations, but with certain possibility of development, because we need the development, we need the jobs, we need to move Nosara forward for a little bit of growth, controlled growth, right? But not in the third group. I know the third group has been sending emails to the most wealthy people around Nosara saying, hey guys, I know you have a big property. If you want to develop it, put money here so we pay our lawyers to take this out. Like, that's happening right now. I know also by personal experience, one of the guys that is the head of this third group, when he told me personally that his mission was to end NCA. Another person sent an email to the president of NCA saying he won't be relaxed until she disappears from Nosara and the NCA goes out. So third group is not an option. If you have feelings or if you have thoughts that things should change on those regulations, be helpful. Put your opinion. Fight it, but in a good way, not attacking.
Is it come as a surprise to you that there is even a third group out there?
No, I was expecting it.
Because a lot of people, whenever they're hearing about this or learning about it for the first time, a lot of their reaction is, well, how could anyone oppose this? And the people in group 2, the people who are kind of in the middle who are like, hey, I think we need to talk this through or adjust this or that, but I'm still for something. That group is doing a pretty good job of explaining.
See. And like the engineers, the architects are sending like proposal, like this should be like this should be like that. Like, I know the architects were like, hey guys, in 6 meters, we cannot fit 2 floors. Like, impossible. So they say, like, they send the technical information and now the local government listen and put it in 9. Oppose, but put options. Like, you don't want 1,000 square meter lots, you want 600 square meter lots? Perfect. Why? Put it in there. Like, not just go with your, we say with los tacos de frente, with your shoes,
right.
¿cómo se llaman? The soccer shoes.
With your cleats.
To the,
right.
To the face of the other one.
Right. Well, I guess everybody has every right to say whatever they want to say. And the good news is Nicoya is listening.
See?
If he'd have told me 5 years ago that it would be like that, I don't know if I would have believed it.
It will be hard to believe, like, yeah. Ask me 12 years ago. I would even thought that Nosara was going to have like this kind of development when I moved here.
I didn't either, man. It seems like we wouldn't have it because the access is challenging. It's pretty expensive compared to other places. Like, you could go to Nicaragua for 25% the cost of a trip to Nosara or Panama or even other places in Costa Rica. My point is Nosara is not the cheapest place in the world.
No, it's expensive, but it's the beauty of the people that is here.
Different. Yeah, it has something special to it because people come back and it's sticky, man.
There's not a single community that I know in Costa Rica or all around here that has so many people working for the community as Nosara has. And why is that?
Let's talk about that.
That's a difference.
I want to know your thoughts. Like, why is that?
I have no idea. Like, we're lucky. I don't know. Like, the first people that came here probably did a good job. Like Amba, Don, I don't know, Bobby. All them brought good people. Like,
the way Bobby kind of explained a lot of it to me was the people who, and this was her recollection, the people who all bought early, they weren't really families. They were just people buying as much land as they can for privacy and to preserve it. And it was mainly singles or couples, but not with grown kids. It was the exact opposite of what it is today. Today, it's filled with families and it's one of the most family-oriented towns you can imagine.
See, but still, even with kids and with families, most of people that is in here is the same, like trying to conserve, trying to do good things.
Right. So for whatever reason, a good kind of people seem to come in here.
Good people attract good people. That's what I think. But now we're getting other types also.
So what's that all about, Andres? You got a solution for all this stuff?
No, that's impossible. We all have to live together.
All right. So I joke around with you sometimes about how you need to be president of Costa Rica.
No, thank you.
Well, hear me out. You've actually been a mayor of a place before.
I was vice mayor in Montes de Oca, the university, ¿cómo se llama? District, we call it.
Now, this was in your 20s too, right?
I was 24.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. People who find a way to be a mayor or a vice mayor by 24 generally have big political aspirations. So you're in so many organizations and you're very passionate about the area, even though you're being lazy right now on your 2-year vacation. I'm just kidding.
Or more.
We'll see. We're going to pull you back in. But the point is, you're extremely active and you're one of those people who can't not be involved. Even though you're on vacation, you're still involved and people still know you're there and you still will voice your opinion.
I'm involved by, how to say, rebounds.
But what's your future, man? Are you going to end up, what are you going to end up doing? Because I know it's going to be big and you are built for the political scene. So
what's
going on with you?
My idea in here, and 2 years ago we started, was to get the actual locals from Nosara, like the people that was born and raised in here, to start being involved in politics, which that's what we have to target. As you were saying, like educating people to grow into a good person and a good asset for the community. We also have to educate people, local people, to involve in politics, because that's where the change can come with the normal institutionality of the country. So that was my try, at least. But if you ask me near future in politics, no.
So
I'm
right now you're going to enjoy your family?
everything except from work and family.
I got you. So you're going to live a more normal life for at least the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to make your prediction. 10 years from now and beyond, you're going to be involved in some sort of big thing, and then you owe me a pizza.
I pay you a pizza, but not for that.
And then you have to be president of the Security Association for 4 years.
No way. I prefer to be president of Costa Rica than your job right now.
Man, that was a pretty good burn, Andres. Man, I guess I had it coming. So anyway, for that reason, that's why I'm quitting and I'm taking Agnes with me. She deserves some peace of mind. So shout out to Agnes and you guys and everybody.
See, and a big applause to Agnes.
Yeah. God dang, man. All right, so let's move on. We've been going for a little bit. I want to talk about one more unpleasant topic, and then it'll be friendly from then on. I want to know your dislikes to Nosara. We all know the likes. We all know nature, and we all know all the yada yada. But the podcast, this is real. People are getting to know you right now. People hear your name, they see you, but they don't know you, and now they do. They hear how you talk. They see your emotion. They see what you care about. And I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you dislike about this place?
As everybody, the road.
It's a pretty common answer.
Which I was also helping the 160 route group,
Right.
Which I got kind of retired, but came a little bit for a while last month. For a while, like rebounds.
Needed it.
Needed to come back for a little help.
It might have worked. So the road, what else?
I dislike what is happening right now. The division that this regulation caused, and because of the third group, I dislike having like Wall Street practices in Nosara. That's what I dislike, because I moved here for a non-tie lawyer with shorts, not pants.
Right.
So, because this is the community to do that, and things are changing. I hope we can change for good, not for bad.
I got you. What else?
I would love to have a movie theater in here, and we don't have one. But that's it.
Movie theater, bowling alley, couple things.
Exactly.
I got you. All right, but for the most part, so the road's a great one. The bad side of business and big city practices coming to this small town. And then just a couple more fun things to do. All right, so let's flip it into something else. I want to ask you what your 3 favorite restaurants are and what do you like to get there in no particular order.
Okay, first of all, there's 20 awesome restaurants or more.
A lot of restaurants.
Like, there's a lot of restaurants right now.
Yeah, there are more restaurants or surf schools?
Very good questions.
That would be a fun public debate. We have a lot of good surf schools and a lot of good restaurants.
See. And like every one of them has their good meal. But I will say Pacifico Azul.
Okay, so Pacifico
which
Azul?
I'm proud because it's Tico owned. So it's like one of the few Tico places in Guiones counting me.
It's been going a long time.
Uh-huh.
What do you like to get there at Pacifico Azul?
Everything. The octopus is amazing.
Okay.
Sí. It's like my favorite dish in there. Of course, Marlin Bill's.
Okay. And what do you like up at Bill's? Burgers?
Buenísimo, sí. And I don't know, Beach Dog also. That's amazing. Like, Mike is awesome. But there's so many. Like, there's.
What do you like to get at Beach Dog?
At Beach Dog, the burrito.
Which one?
I don't know how it's called. It has rice and beans and
the Beach Dog burrito, I think it's called. Either way, so you like a bunch of stuff. All right. Any other ones that come to mind, restaurant wise?
Sí. No, the SPS is really good. ¿Cómo se llama? Pura Pizza. Like every time I go out of the office and my wife is like, Andres, I cannot cook. I go to Pura Pizza and get some. Basilico is amazing. ¿Cómo se llama? The other one, not Basilico.
Pepperoni?
Also pepperoni. Like, they're super good. Like, again, every single one of them has their plate that is amazing.
Gotcha.
So if you put me to pick one, it's not going to be easy for me.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice having options.
See?
That's good. So I guess as we wrap this up, do you have any thoughts or shout outs or thank yous or messages or anything you want to get out there? Or is there anything you'd like to get off your chest while you have this platform?
Well, already say thank you for the people that makes Nosara like it is. Like you, Bobby, Agnes, Joe, Ryan, Jessica. So many people that works in the different associations. Like, you can even not name it. Probably like 100 people that are working on associations in here and helping the community. And again, like, the only thing that I will say to people is this is the time to talk. Like, this is the time to put our ideas and to get together, not to divide the town in gossips and in half-truths or throwing documents from 10 years or 2 years ago that are not valid anymore. This is the time. Like, we decide our future right now.
On that note, let's wrap this up. I want to thank you for coming on.
Thanks to you for inviting.
It's going to help a lot of people.
I thought I was going to be like, cannot talk. I'm afraid. But no.
I knew
you're a very good reporter.
Thank you.
You said you were a reporter yesterday.
I think that just started last night. But it hit me, we don't have one. And some lady at the meeting on Thursday was like, is there a reporter around here? No. I guess I'll do that. No, in all seriousness, so thank you. A lot of people are going to benefit from hearing this. And you're a wealth of knowledge on so many things. And thanks for everything that you've done for this community. I know most people don't recognize it. And I know that you're doing it. And
do not need recognition. Don't worry.
No, we just need more people.
It's better to work in the back than in the front, like you. You get all the stones.
I need to work on that. Maybe I can hire you to counsel me on how to get out of this. But all seriousness, so thank you, Andres. And I appreciate you coming in.
Muchas gracias.